Alright, well, we're not going to waste a whole lot of time on this one. I'm just going to dig right in. This gentleman bought this guitar brand spanking new, and after having it for a while, he decided he didn't like the pickups. So he had my journeyman Stu put EMG pickups in it, which are active EMGs, and I'm getting my first look at what's happened here with the battery and all that. And we're gonna have to get some wires pulled out of here, and Stu, as always, as a good journeyman should do, use some shrink tubing to get that wiring all dialed in. And we're gonna take a look at how. Okay, so this is the main, these two are the main. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and cut this. Yeah, I'm cutting it. Let me make sure here. Actually, what I'm going to do is cut it here. That way it'll make it easy to get them out of there. And then I'm going to have to desolder the negative off of those battery terminals. And I'm just diving right in. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the bench. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my job. See if I got a soldering gun. That's might be a little bit of a learning here on soldering for folks that might need a little bit of guidance on that. It's not something you really want to take too gingerly or lightly. You got to do it right to ensure that everything works correctly. I'm gonna before I go to heat that up, I'm gonna tin my soldering gun. Ooh, she's good and hot. I'm gonna crank it. Oh yeah, that looks good. Go ahead, heat up this solder. There we go. And now the battery is loose, and the ground, everything's still connected as it should be. And I should be able to pull the battery out of here and get that out of, oh, let's see. Oh yes, that's what I've done wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and resolder that. I need to take the output jack and desolder it from the output jack. We're gonna resolder this. There we go. As much as I try, I never walk on water. Alright, so we've got our battery terminal connected to the output jack, which is on this particular instrument right where it belongs, on the side of the guitar. I don't like this particular style of output jack. It's a, in my humble opinion, a kind of a cheesy way to do it. I would prefer to see screws in this, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess one of these up pretty bad. And they're pressed into the wood, so the only thing holding it in there is nothing mechanical outside of the this little piece of metal that is basically wedged into the wood inside here. And working on them is a kind of a pain in the neck. But again, it's an affordable way to do stuff. Saves on screws and other things. So we need to get, and I'm trying to be real careful here not to scratch the instrument up, so we're going to put a rag down here, and I'm going to remove this terminal, or the battery, from this terminal, and the battery will then be free, and I can begin to work on the pickups. Actually, probably just go ahead and I'm going to leave that shrink tubing on there. We'll get that off of there. We'll just snip it off Stu did a great job making a good mechanical joint there. Awesome. That's how it's done. And I'm going to pull this off of here, and we'll just snug that down over the top of that. And now it's wired up like a normal output jack. And before I say that, well, I can't test these pickups, so now I know I need to desolder the pickups from the control here. And before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and take a photograph of that. I don't know which pickup is connected to which, but I believe that, let me see, it's upside down. That is the bridge pickup, that is the neck pickup. But we'll make sure of that. Again, I'm just going to take a photograph real quick. I don't want to take a selfie. I get to see enough of my ugly mug. Let me clean my lens. Hopefully everybody's having a happy and great Friday the 13th. Hopefully it's a musical day for you. There we go. That ought to do it. I'm going to go ahead and... Now my guess is that the way these are soldered, these are not going to come loose very easily, because my journeyman does a very good job of making sure that we have a good solid mechanical joint. So as you see, I'm having to kind of pick away at this, and we'll see, yep, there it comes loose. So if you have a wire that's been wrapped around a terminal like that, you can use your torch to help break it loose and unwind it. Now I'm going to take my solder sucker, heat that up, and get the solder out of there, and any extra solder, we'll try and remove all of that. And we'll heat it again with the solder sucker. Yeehaw! Don't want to leave a bunch of stranded stray wires on this connection. Now I've got a nice open socket there, and we'll do the same thing on this side. Probably going to have to do the exact same thing with respect to bending this wire. Ooh, I'm going to use my solder sucker on this. It's a pretty good amount of solder. I'm going to go ahead and suck some of that solder out of there. There we go. And now should be able to pull this wire through there fairly easily. Say should. Come on, there we go. Okay. And then we'll break the grounds loose, and you can see how the grounds were connected right here on the side of the switch versus running a wire, running the shielding all the way over to the back of the pickup cover. The ground is actually going through the control cavity cover. I may do that differently with the new pickups. Woo! I got a drop of solder on my arm there. That was kind of fun. The shit's hot. I'm gonna clean this up a bit, I hope, and get some of this solder off of here. So now that I've got the control cavity clear, oh, my cameraman is drunk again. Probably didn't see any of that. Forgive me. I'm gonna knock this solder off of here. There we go. Alright. My cameraman. Hey, Mark. Hello. Damn, I need a cameraman. Okay. So our wires are all loose. Strings are still on the guitar. And let's see Whew, that's a hot battery. Oh yeah, hot. Okay, time to take strings off this bad boy. See what kind of world record I can make for swapping out pickups. Oh, and this is a locking machine heads. Love that. That's cool. Just working away on another guitar, Mark. Got my home camera security system all dialed in today. Had Microsoft try to help me with the problem that they created on my network, and they weren't able to solve it. At least not their level 1, I think, technician. So they referred me to level 2. Getting big time now, buddy. My problem is so heavy. Anybody with Windows Pro can just network their computers together. That's what somebody told me. Nope. Not so simple. Not so simple. Nothing on a computer is simple. You have to know somebody who knows a lot. And usually more than what Microsoft would actually know, their employees would know, I would guess, given what my experience was today. Kind of interesting. But it doesn't really matter at this point. It's not causing me any problems. I still have my old beater. Yeah, this is a beautiful guitar. Look at that thing. Now, I was going to put a tortoiseshell pickguard on it, which I thought would look glorious, but the one that I had didn't fit this guitar properly. It was a used one off of another guitar, and unfortunately the neck pocket on that guitar was way bigger than this, so I had to decide not to do it. And you might wonder about the idea of why would you change EMGs to normal Tele pickups? Well, I think the guitar had normal Tele pickups in it when it was born, and the owner wanted them quieter or wanted a different sound, and he decided that he didn't really like the sound of the pickups, and so we're turning it back into a Tele ultimately, and we'll just see how things roll. I'm really trying to hustle here to get this one done for him as quickly as I can. Shouldn't take too long. The wiring is all at this point pretty simple. So this shouldn't be too big of a job. But you never know until you get in here and see. The bummer about Telecasters is that you know, unfortunately, to get the pickups out, although it can be easily done, you've got to remove the bridge, and they've covered all the screws that you pull out of the bridge with the saddles. So this is one of the inconveniences of what Leo Fender's guitar design is. You got to remove pickup, remove engine. Okay, so this wire should pull out of here nice and clean. This is an EMG FT. See, yeah, and on these EMG pickups they use plastic, that little piece of plastic right there with the screw going through it is supposed to hold that pickup in place. Really, guys? You can see what Stu had to do to make those work. I believe Stu did this. I don't think that's my work, but I've had to do the same thing on other EMG pickups. EMG pickups are awesome, but that part of it, I'm sorry. A housewife could see that and know that that's weak. Not that housewives wouldn't know anything mechanical, they do, but that is a joke. And I think this is a fairly expensive set of pickups, but to ship them like that, with expecting that to hold a pickup in place, I don't necessarily feel like that's a very good engineering feat. Yeah, I recall. Yeah, these pickups are tight. There we go. So there's one EMG out of the hole, and oh, okay, so these are actually likely designed for this screw to actually screw into. I don't know what they expected somebody to do with that. That's goofy. Pretty horrible design. I think you'd agree. These are going to be. What else would you put in a Tele? I believe these were ordered from Stu Mac. I'm not 100% certain, but putting Tele pickups back in a Tele, which I think is a great choice. There are. Okay. So I'm hoping I can do this without having to move the saddles. This is the one. I don't know if you want to call it a design flaw, you can. I'm not a fan of having to do all this to get a pickup out of a guitar. But I got to. And we'll take a look at the ground connection in here, which, oh, that's been removed. So we'll have to probably run. I think it's been removed because I don't. It wasn't visible in here. Again, with active pickups, the ground isn't entirely necessary. How many screws? We're gonna have, I think, 5 screws that I gotta pull now. Yeah, I don't know if they make a set of Texas Specials for Telecaster. They are, in my opinion, the best Strat pickups ever. Every guitar I've ever put them in, they just sound fantastic. But the 64 series on these Tele pickups has been very highly touted, might be a good way to put it. Guys really seem to love these. So I'm able to get this bridge off of here without having to pull these saddles off, which is really nice. And it'll let me clean the sides of the saddles and get everything looking nice and close to new. Should be pretty good. It's nice that they use such long screws. We know that bridge isn't going to go anywhere. And we shall see what happens here. I doubt that I'm going to find a ground in here. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I might have to run a new ground wire. I'm guessing that it was probably removed when those EMGs were put into this, but yeah. Okay, so they did a little better job, I think, of the way they mount this. The other pickup was designed to screw the screws to hold it in the wood. Oh, you got a paisley. Yeah. Texas Specials are in your Are you sure they're Texas Specials? Not that you can't put Texas Specials in a Tele, but I've never put them in a Tele because of the unless you have some kind of special model that doesn't have the typical lipstick pickup in the neck position, because they don't make a. I'm not aware of a neck position Tele pickup that or a lipstick shaped pickup that they would call a Texas Special. I don't think they could fit the circuit in there. Alright, so we got the pickups out of this guitar. That's looking good. Now, need to run a ground. Do a little bit of cleanup work on this. I'm going to go ahead and use a piece of copper tape and fix the ground situation. Well, I know you can't see what I'm doing over here. And the adhesive on this copper tape is conductive, so when I do this, all I'm doing is repairing. Not that it's that big of a deal, but this will help ensure that we've got good grounding on the pick guard all the way around. There we go. Is it a lipstick style pickup in the neck position on that Tele? I wasn't aware that they made a lipstick style Texas special. That's my I don't know. I'm just asking you. Take this. Okay, there's the pick guard. Time to mount the new pickups in this thing. This is the fun part, mounting the pickups in a Telecaster pick guard, or most Fender pick guards. It's kind of fun. And the beautiful phone. Oh, and I got to run a ground. Run a ground. Like a glove. That's great. Did they send the hardware? Yes, they did. That's awesome. And we got the good old tubes. Oh. Huh. I would love to hear that. I just the Strat that I worked on for the young man, that was the MIM, or I'm sorry, the Relict Strat. He came and picked it up yesterday. He was pretty excited to get it home and play it.
I'm back again.
Hello.
Did Holly already finish his lessons?
What's that? He did. Yeah.
How long ago?
He does his lesson. I'm not sure. They left probably a half hour ago.
Some bitch.
I
just ran here.
Oh man.
Well, he was supposed to meet us at the thing.
What's that?
He was supposed to meet us at the library.
Oh. Ooh.
I'm not sure. Hell, don't take 30 minutes to get here from the library.
Oh.
Does he end at 4?
I don't keep track of that. Okay. I'm working on guitars all day, man.
Yeah,
I can't keep track of that. I don't know.
Luckily, I have his number.
I thought that yeah, 4 o'clock was usually their end of their lesson together. Usually.
Son of a bitch, I guess I should have suspected that though. That makes sense because you have someone before me usually.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've gotten that. We'll be a little more on time because I don't have to deal with the other instructor being here.
I thought it was like 4:30, so I'm like, okay. Well, I'm kind of getting bored with hanging out with the group I'm already in, so I'll meet Ollie here, and while I'm waiting, look at some guitars, and then we'll head out back to the library. Shit.
Alright.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna head out.
Okay, brother.
See ya.
Play that guitar tonight. Okay. We're gonna go back to good old Leo's design and put this in here like so. I'm not gonna get too crazy. There we go. Fits like a glove, that's great. Now we got to put the other pickup in. I got to remember to put a ground wire. Okay. Yeah, if it's a Brad Paisley guitar, they could have done anything. It's Brad Paisley, for Christ's sake. Yeah, we need to go like this. It does fit like a glove. It fits good. I'm gonna set this rag down on here, and we'll start getting screws run through this and get the sleeves in here. I prefer springs over these rubbers, but they came with rubbers, so we'll go ahead and use them. Well, the magnets in here are working. That's for damn certain. There's that. And this is where this gets really not very fun. Is getting these rubbers fed onto these screws. You know, I've tried heating them up before, but it almost makes them shrink. And they get dropped, and trying to get them on the end of that screw, not super simple. There we go. Okay, just gonna get the threads just barely started. And number 3. Oh, camera angle sucks. Here we go. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. And our pickup is now mounted in the bridge. Okay, just kind of getting a gentle start on that, and now we will take a piece of black wire, feed it through here, make sure to have plenty of wire here so that the control cavity can come out easily. And then
Got that crap out of the way. Alright. Anything exciting happening while I was out there?
What's that?
Anything exciting going on?
No. I thought I saw Dave here, but I was working on his guitar. I think he vanished. Is Dave out there? Okay.
No.
me and Christopher, I was talking to Christopher how to run a switch run for a fan, ceiling fan.
Oh.
Simple,
Yeah.
simple.
I'll be doing that same thing here next. Well, as soon as I can.
Well, the problem is when you're dealing with old wiring, you never know what somebody else has done. It's incorrect.
Mine just had all I had to do was hook up the positive and negative. All the switches were in the fan. It wasn't like I had a
That's
wall
simple.
switch.
I like it that way.
Yeah.
That way you can just pull the 110 out of the 118 or whatever out of the ceiling, and you got it licked. That's the way most houses are supposed to be wired. With the power runs straight across the ceiling. And
Yeah, you just
switch jumpers down, running down the walls. That way you're not having a lot of 110 going through the wall.
There we go.
People wire houses so bad. My house is the worst. 1920s, 1921, of course, and it was originally probably didn't even have wiring in it.
Did this guitar would have had a ground wire originally, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it would have been on a fucking horrible looking star washer loop thing that went underneath one of the screws that mounted the pickup in the darn bridge, and them were horrible, and they always get intermittent and they cut out. So most guys take the ground wire that came from the jack and the potentiometers, and they run it and they solder it, or they put it in one of the screw holes that hold the bridge on.
Right. And that's exactly what I'm doing right here.
That's a way better way to do it. That's the old 60s way, and it's better.
Yeah.
But the Mexican style Fenders, they were notorious for that horrible ground that doesn't work.
Get a little bit of
in the darn.
Okay. There's that.
There's some more caffeine here, and I'll be feeling a lot better.
You need a caffeine fix?
Yeah, I took a whole bunch of pain pills today because my leg was killing me, so now I'm got to compensate with the caffeine.
There you go.
So now I'll be all jacked on caffeine. I'm not looking forward to doing that car tomorrow. So I got a bad one tomorrow.
Got a bad install.
Yep, the 03 Mercedes.
Tough one. Oh.
The one that stumped many an installer.
Those are the dashboard part.
With the optical cables that run all the way from the original head unit to the trunk where the amplifier is. And I got to bypass all that.
Oh
Because they
boy.
don't make a harness for it.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to pretend it's a 57 Chevy and wire it up, and it'll work like a champ.
Yep. And we about have Telecaster pickups in a Telecaster.
So you're putting this, what vintage Tele pickups you're putting in there?
They're 64s.
Perfect, that'll be awesome. That's a good year. I always like the sound of the early 60s. One of the best sounds on the planet is a early 60s Tele into a early 60s Vibrolux reverb.
That's the sound.
That's the natural sound. A lot of guys made a lot of money off that sound.
Mm-hmm. Kind of sounds like that might be a what's his name? The guy with the Squire. Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen, yeah. Yeah, I like old guitars, man. I like the sound of them. But it's funny how the magnets will get weak and weird. And what's his face? Mike Eckhart were talking the other night about the old Blazers and Predators and stuff. Not Predators, but Blazers and the Roadstars. And how the pickup sounded, the singles sounded awesome when they were new.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky to get 3 or 4 years out of them.
Yeah.
before the magnets died.
Yeah. That is definitely a horror story. That. Alright.
Tell you what, I have a good sounding Blazer. Got 3 DiMarzios in it, like you have in yours, basically, except for I have the 2 Pro Tracks and the what's that other one? Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
It's an uncollected special order hardware. Got a deal on. Oh, okay. You built it. You would have built it, didn't you, Mark? I hear you, buddy. That's interesting. I've never heard of a Texas Special Tele pickup, like a lipstick. Is that?
That'd be weird. Yeah, I've never seen that much. I'm sure they probably made something similar to that.
Yeah.
But the original Tele pickups had a weird wire size.
Yeah. I just didn't think they could fit the circuit in such a small.
Well, the thing is, they could probably get the same basic tonal characteristics by using that smaller wire.
Oh.
And then just whapping a different amount of turns to get the inductance to be the same.
All right.
They could probably make a comparable.
So it was legit for them to call it a Texas Special.
Right.
In
This
that.
really makes a companion to the bridge pickup.
Yeah.
Boy, that wire in them old 50s style Tele pickups, boy, that was some small wire.
Dinky little stuff.
Mm-hmm. It would just go bad from looking at it.
Yeah. Just
Seen
break when you just look at it.
Well, you know, I've seen probably 10 over the years, 10 early 50s Teles with the neck pickup bad.
Yeah.
One of them was actually a broadcaster, and that's the one that
Fincher.
Fincher had, yeah. Boy, I wanted that guitar, and
Ah.
traded it out before I could get it.
Dude, that still to this day just breaks my heart.
It was
And I got to talk to him about that whole situation, man.
It was in pretty good shape. I mean,
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but it was better than about 90% of them I've seen.
They gave him a Mexican Strat
Mm-hmm.
and what, $2,000 or something?
Yeah, a few thousand here and yeah, or there. I can't remember what it was. I know it wasn't over $6,000. It should have been over 6, but it wasn't.
It could have been 6 zeros, man.
Well, that's
Good
the thing.
Lord.
It was pretty fresh guitar, and he had the original case, and
Yeah. 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 I love that guy. That guy and his wife and his son Steve is such a great dude, man.
yeah, I like Steve. Steve's been a buddy of mine for a long time. I played music with him a few times over the years.
Yeah. Okay, we got to put the output jack back in, and we'll get lucky with that. I'm going to save that for last. I'm going to hook up the bridge pickup connects there. We need to get grounds going, so I got to strip my ground. I'm gonna have to solder ground again. Redo this. Thanks for hanging, Mark, man. It's great to see you. I hope you're having a great day. Huh. Yeah, okay, cool, man. Yeah, Mark's saying that he's got a set, or he has a Brad Paisley
Oh, the Brad Paisley set. Yeah,
yeah,
I've heard of that.
with the Texas Special or not Strat, Tele.
Right, Tele
Yeah.
pickups. I like the Brad Paisley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool
that.
stuff.
And that's cool that they gave us so much wire here. So I'm going to take my my favorite razor blade and scuff the back of this volume, or this, yeah, we'll just ground them all to the same volume pot here. We'll make a nice big pile of solder here.
You're not just gonna solder it really cold solder it onto the back of the pot? Onto the
Yeah. I want it to look like
spattered crap.
right at the bottom of an iceberg or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to make it look like an iceberg. All right, so gonna. Whew, I have my soldering iron turned up way too hot, but I'm soldering to a pot, so I've got to be able to get this pot good and hot. Get some solder to soak onto here. Let me get the camera pointed in the right direction. Hopefully that's a good view. Oops.
Excuse me.
There we go. Bless you, Stu.
It's all good, man. Smoke too much. I wasn't smoking solder, I promise.
I know. You see the smoke and you start coughing.
I'll tell you what, that
Start hacking.
solder likes to vaporize when you got a hot iron.
Yeah.
And it's the way to go.
This stuff, this solder I got is just killer.
I have a roll of that too. I found mine at
This is compliments of Mr. Stephen Kairos.
well, I'll tell you, he did you a favor.
Yeah.
That's some good solder right
Some
there.
old solder. Back when they could put lead and stuff and it didn't, no. I'll shut up now. Boy, those are definitely wax dipped. This stuff is wax dipped. You can smell the wax melting.
Oh, on the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't spare the wax, I'll tell you. No.
Am I doing a clean enough job, Mark? What do you think? Is my soldering job looking acceptable?
One thing is, I'm glad you have a bench inside to work on that kind of stuff.
Boy.
I used to solder out in that darn shop in the winter.
Yeah.
And it would be 30 degrees
Yeah.
out there. And I'm trying to get a potentiometer hot enough to stick solder to it.
Good luck.
Yeah, it was a pain in the...
Alright.
Made me very unhappy.
Look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing here. Bridge pickup goes to here. I hope. I'm just going to tack that just barely. I want to melt some of the wax off of here if I can. In fact, I'm going to scrape this piece of wire because the ground wire on that seemed to have some wax on it, and I want to make sure to make that I don't have any wax in diluting my soldering joint, my solder joint. Okay, I'm just gonna tack this real quick. That way, if I'm wrong, it's not too hard to take it apart. I know I'm not wrong because I memorized it, but we'll make sure. I'll just be certain. There it is. Let's see. Let's see if she works. I think she'll work. Is it okay if I call it a girl? Alright. Oh, I can hear sound. So the volume must be turned up all the way. Yeah. And we should be hearing the bridge pickup. Oh. We should be hearing. I hooked them up backwards. There you go. I was wrong. I was wrong. But thus, that's why I just tack them. Come right apart, real easy. Just like that.
Coming off that thing. Does it matter which one I run?
Oh, you got one black that we're going to your fan.
And it works.
Okay. As a rule, they cut the black wire and interrupt it when you switch runs.
You're lucky. I was just leaving.
It shouldn't be. It has to do it.
Somebody's calling.
It takes about the same amount of time.
Somebody's watching.
Yes, they're using a scoop.
It always feels like somebody's watching. Alright. Just like that. Let's make sure the tone pot does something. Oh yeah. Okay. So we know the pickups work. We got normal Tele pickups and a normal Tele. I'm going to tuck all the wiring down inside here, but before I do that, we got to get the output jack in its place, in its little tiny, hard to get to spot. And you know, oh, this has got that thick, yeah, that's what the deal is. I remember on these ones there's not enough thread on, oh yeah, okay, there is on this one, there is. Okay, so we're cool. And ask me where I learned about lock washers. That man I've been visiting with here the whole broadcast, Mr. Stu Hensley, makes sure to put these in here. Now I know this is gonna, the view's gonna get kind of screwed up here, but this is such a difficult thing to do. Well, here, let's get you so you can kind of see what I'm up against. This terrible design for how to put an output jack in a guitar. This is an engineering disaster. There's a lot of them in guitar manufacturing, but there's just so many better ways it could have been done. This device right here is just idiotic. But you know, we got to work with it because that's what Leo did. And where's my flat head? So we're gonna. It's just pretty dumb, considering, you know, a little rectangular block with some screws, and that would just be. And then, you know, to get it the nut started on here. It's a good thing I'm a little guy. That's all I got to say about it. That's what she said. Anyway. Yeah. All right. So we're about ready to make some noise with this reborn Tele. Reborn Telecaster. We have brought a Tele back to the status of Tele status. Alright. I got my fingerprints all over this guitar, which is really super cool. Oh. Did you hear that? My head was probably right in the way while I was doing that too. Oh, that's right. On this one, I got to loosen this screw. Tighten this one first. And then tighten that one. Time for strings. I sure hope Dave likes this. Okay. Looks fantastic. Fantastical. I like it. I'll send these home with him. And strings. What are we going to do for strings on this thing? I better measure the old one. I don't know what this thing had on it. I think they're Slinky 10s. I know they're Slinkies. I think they're 10s. In fact, I'm pretty certain they're 10s, but I'm going to measure them. Because I have the technology. Oh. Yep, they're 10s. So let's put a set of Ernie Ball Slinky 10s on this guitar. What do you say? We'll get the saddles all laid back down. Now, given the fact that I had to make those movements on this, I will check the intonation on this guitar one more time. And we'll definitely have to set the pickup height, but because I haven't even started on that. So here we go. We'll be making noise with this thing in moments. I need a sip of coffee. Oh, this is good. How are we doing, Mark? Okay. 9. Yeah, I thought about doing that for him. You're mean. And truth be known, the gentleman who owns this guitar was a guitar student of mine for a very long time. I'm gonna go grab another reg. And we've gone through a lot of alterations on his guitars while he was learning new skills as a player and deciding, you know, if the strings that he was using were the right strings and that sort of thing. And he seems to be overall fairly comfortable with the strings that he's using on each of his instruments. Primarily they're Ernie Ball Slinky 10s, just regular Slinkies. And you know, heck, while I'm at it, guess what I'm gonna do for this gentleman? Because this went so quickly, and you know, I don't fuck around, I don't dally. Let's see what we can do with these frets. Dude, Mark, this stuff, dude, this stuff, wow, this polish is fantastic. Takes a tiny little bit. I'll be able to do most of the frets with just this little bit. And you can even use a wet rag. What I've heard, some guys using a wet rag. Just smear it around a little bit. These frets are already pretty clean, and I didn't just polish them, but I'll get you over here so you can see what this is doing. Yeah, this polish, and you know, these frets were fairly clean, but you can see that it's taking off, you know, this black material on these things, and holy smokes. Oh, and it's leaving black residue. Okay, before I get too far, I want to make sure that is Gotta learn, gotta learn. Come on. Where's my screwdriver? Really? There it is. I want to make sure that this stuff comes off very easily. I'm not going to create a whole bunch more work for myself. I'm just going to take a little shot of Roncinol. And so I'm going to stop using the semi-chrome polish on these frets. It's just it's creating more work than is necessary. It's leaving that black residue next to the frets. I don't want to have to deal with that. Clean off every one of these in this manner. That's just more work unnecessarily. Yeah. Okay, so don't use semi-chrome polish on maple necks. Not a fan of maple necks anyway, because they just look ugly usually. They get dirty really easily. Okay. Welcome to the show. Don't use semi-chrome polish on maple frets. It will create way more work than is necessary. So rather than do that, I'm just going to take a rag and buff each fret with just a dry rag. I own one guitar with a maple fingerboard, and it looks all right. It started to wear, but so this dry rag isn't going to do a whole lot, but it'll buff out a little bit of the shine back into these things. These don't really need it. I was just going to try and add a little bit of extra love to the work that I'm doing, but I can see that I'm creating a whole bunch more work for myself. Okay. Amazing. That semi-chrome does a great job on metal though. Don't use it on a maple fingerboard unless you want to spend a while cleaning it off the fingerboard. Let me put my my copper tape away. There we go. And I'm gonna scoot this over. Yeah. About ready to string this bad boy up. See what she sounds like with the new pickups. (10 to 46). Here we go. If you're lurking, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll know when I go live again. Hopefully everybody might have learned a little something from this one, while there are probably hundreds if not thousands of other videos out there doing the same exact thing. I don't know of anyone who does it live. They do live broadcasts and drink beer and talk about, I don't know, how great Canada is. Are you gonna go through there? There we go. I don't see many guys working on guitars actually live. There might be a couple, but I'm unaware of them. The guys that I really love, I don't do a lot in the way of live broadcasts when they're actually working. So I'm really glad to be able to do that and share it with the folks that I love. My dad can watch what I do at work. It's really super cool. He's never seen me do this kind of stuff until the opportunity of YouTube came about. You know, it's fun to be able to share that. There we go. Okay. Come on. Here we go. Record breaking string change time. All right. Oh, these are locking tuners also. Watch this. This is just sweet. I love that this thing has locking machine heads. Wonder if I hit that one right. I'm probably pretty close.
So that's yours, and we'll take the link to that, and then
Am I in tune? How close is my ear working today? Although I cheated because I've already done this on one guitar, but where are we at? So I'm just... B is almost perfect and E is almost perfect. Not bad. My ear still works. But I can't hear. Curious if anybody is still watching, what would you charge to do something like this? What would be a fair price? I used one piece of wire and some solder as far as material goes. What's a legit price for something like this? In US dollars, just curious. I've been on, let's see, been live for 1 hour. It's taken me a little, just ever so slightly over 1 hour to.
Well, you make an effort, maybe it all happens, and whatever happens, happens when it happens. All right, buddy. Thanks, Jim. Thank you, man. Have a good weekend.
What would you charge? And we're done.
You needed a harness for a 2000 Honda CRV, right? What's that? I don't have one that plugs into the. Now, you don't have the. You trying to hook the original radio up, or you trying to put an aftermarket into the CRV?
Legit.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. You hit the nail on the head, brother. So I can see that this one saddle is sitting there a little wonky. So before I play it, I'm going to check the string action. And let's see, where's my string action? Allen wrench. Is this the right one? Howdy doody. So we're at 5/64. I feel like the string action on this guitar is a little bit high, just looking at it. Some of these saddles are a little bit wonky.
I'll be around till 6, so I'll be up front. So yeah, just come in and
I'm gonna make a minor adjustment while I'm here. Level off these saddles. They may have moved when I was adjusting the. They can, you know, I suppose with tension off of them. Just set screws, but they all feel fairly tight. Is there fret buzz? Let me check something real quick before I get too far ahead of myself. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not walking myself right down into having fret. Make sure I'm not adjusting myself right into. Okay. That's working really nicely for me. I'm liking that. Set the pickup height. Send this bad boy home. Holy smokes. I was awful close. I was awful close. Don't use semichrome on a maple fingerboard. My takeaway from today. And I'm literally within about a 64th of an inch of being exactly right on the pickup height on these things now. That's amazing. Pretty darn cool. Just like that. That's amazing. I hardly had to move those pickups up and down at all. Just a couple of little teeny tweaks. Just a good feel, I suppose. Good feel. Let's hear what they sound like. What do you think? You want to play it?
No.
Come on.
My hands don't work anymore. I've retired them.
Retired. Well, let's hear it.
I do like the ones with the newer style pick guard screws through there that hold the raise and lower the pickup. Unlike the early Teles where you had to pull the pick guard to adjust the neck pickup.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the look better on the old ones, but I like the functionality a lot better on these.
find that sweet direction to sit. Like a good old-fashioned Telecaster from the land of Telecaster. There we go. Yeah, it sounds just like a good old Tele, and the balance between the pickups, with the neck pickup being kind of quieter, very common for Telecasters. It feels like a Tele. Really low string action on that guitar, which is great. Most guys like that. So we'll hope that the owner might have just found the pickups that he will love for the rest of his life. And if not, I'll put some different ones in for him. Who knows? He's been a long-time client of mine, a very good friend of mine, and a very kind man. And his wife is just a sweetheart. And it's really lucky to know these guys and see him quite often here at the shop. So I'm going to give him a call and tell him to come get his girl. I'll bet he'll come in tonight. Yeah, he'll be here before we close. We're about 40 minutes from closing. Thanks for hanging with me, Mark, and whoever else may have been here tonight. Thanks for lurking. You guys have a wonderful evening. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Have a great weekend.